Sup squad, Sleepio here. No, just kidding. It's a serious topic today. We gotta talk about something. So today we talk about the talent measured and why it's why it's good or bad. You will see in the end of the video. Top half of the magazine has 20% rate of fire and minus 15% weapon damage. So plus 20 rate of fire and minus 15 weapon damage for the first half. Sounds good, yeah? The bottom half of the magazine is minus 20 rate of fire and 30 weapon damage. Sounds even better, right? So you have plus 20 rate of fire and then minus 20 rate of fire. It's basically zero, right? You don't get any rate of fire. Then you also have minus 15 weapon damage. But to counter that, you have plus 30 weapon damage on the second half. So since the minus 20 rate of fire counters itself with plus 20 rate of fire, you are just left with plus 15 weapon damage, right? So the talent gives you 15 weapon damage, right? Over the whole mag. Is that right? I think that's right. So let's get into the math in a second. But let's talk about the talent Optimist as well. So Optimist is, in my opinion, one of the best talents you can run on any gun if you have only 5 offensive stats. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. So I won't show the math behind that, but it is 13.5% increased weapon damage over the whole mag. If you don't want to believe me on that, then just listen to what Marco-Style has to say about that, in case you think he's more competent if it comes to math.
Optimist gives you 3% weapon damage for every 10% of ammo missing from the magazine, which ends up being about a 13.5% damage increase overall. Yes, 13.5%, not 15, because you don't actually get any damage boost until 10% of your magazine is empty, and then when you reach 100%, well, you have no more bullets. So the talent can be a bit deceiving. Regardless, though, a 13.5% damage increase is not bad at all.
Huh, that was interesting, right? So he also says it's a 13.5% weapon damage increase over the whole mag. So yeah, that's Optimist. That's a decent talent, I would say. And measured is just plus 15%, right? But let me show you the math behind measured real quick. So now to the math behind measured. As you can see, I have a little example here. Actually, I have 2 examples with different numbers, so you can maybe, hopefully, understand the math behind the talent. So let me take base values of 10 base damage and 850 RPM. That adds up to a base DPS of 8500. So obviously 10 base damage is nothing you have in-game, but you don't need high numbers to prove the math. Just the lower the numbers, the easier to understand, hopefully. So yeah, 10 base damage and 850 RPM, that's 8500 DPS. So now let's add the measured values to that. So on the first half, you get minus 15 weapon damage, that's only 8.5 base weapon damage then, times 1020 RPM, that's the 20% increase on top of the 850 RPM. And that adds up to a DPS of 8670. That is 2% damage increase, if you want to know exactly. Now to the second half of the magazine, which gives you 30% weapon damage. And then you're on a base damage of 13. But you also get minus 20 rate of fire, and that puts you on 680 RPM. If you then do the math with that, you end up with a DPS of 8840, which is a DPS increase of 4%. Now you just add those 2 numbers together and divide that by 2, and then you have the average DPS. So that is 8755. So since I already know it's 3% damage increase, let's just take the base DPS we had without any buffs and multiply that with 0.03. And that is 255. 8500 plus 255, that is exactly 8755. So the number we got before, and that's 3% damage increase with measured. You can't just take the numbers and add them together in some weird way and then say it's math. And if anybody doesn't believe that or thinks it's wrong, then I don't know what you smoked, but yeah, you should probably just go to school again. I don't know, like it's mind blowing to me. I was on Twitch today and on YouTube as well. It's mind blowing. So one more example to clarify that. Yeah, right here. Same thing again, just different numbers now. Now I have a base damage of 20, RPM of 600. That's a DPS of 12,000. The first half of the mag would be a base damage of 17. The math is always behind the numbers. The RPM would be 720, and that is a DPS of 12,240. That's a 2% DPS increase. And on the second half of the mech, you have a base damage of 26 and a RPM of 480. And yeah, that's a DPS of 12,480, which is a 4% DPS increase. So it doesn't matter how you look at it, it is always bad. Either you have 2% on the first half, or you have 4% on the second half, or you have 3% DPS increase combined. Doesn't matter how you look at it, the talent is complete trash. If you think this talent is good, then you just don't understand basic math. And if you play that talent, then you do something wrong. And if you play that talent with the goal of maximizing your DPS, then you also do something wrong. So yeah, just a quick video about Measured. After seeing so much bullshit on one day, I just had to make that video. And that's it for today already. I hope I could clarify Measured a bit, and hope I could help a few people with the math. If you still don't believe that Measured is bad, then I can't help you. Just go ahead and play it, you know, and enjoy the DPS increase, and yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and as always, see you in my next video. Bye!